Yes, this is the Higher Power Radio Show. Before we get started, let's take care of a little housekeeping.
Learn the most empowering hiring techniques. Land the most desirable talent. Launch your company towards massive success. This is the Higher Power Radio Show with your host, Rick Girard.
All right, so you've updated your resume, you've optimized your LinkedIn profile, spent weeks hitting easy apply through LinkedIn, and hit over 300 job postings. And the result? Silence. Now, the narrative on social media is companies are posting ghost jobs. Now, some of the jobs don't exist, and maybe they're posted for other reasons, maybe internal transfers or something to that effect, but they're not positions that are just put out there to hoard resumes. But what I'm here to tell you is the uncomfortable truth. And that's the problem isn't the market or the companies. The problem is the noise. And let me tell you what I mean by that. Fake candidates, way too many people using AI to kind of auto-apply has created a huge problem, and it's just unmanageable. So on today's episode of Higher Power Radio, we're going to de-escalate the ghost job issue and expose the real enemy, the auto-apply bot and candidate fraud. More importantly, I'm going to teach you how to stop playing the job post lottery and bypass gatekeepers and create your own referral to win the job you will actually thrive in. So I'm Rick Girard. Welcome to the Higher Power Radio Show. We help people and companies win the strongest opportunities for professional and business growth. Now we're going to dive right into this, and we're going to talk about the problem. There's what I like to call the badge of honor trap, which I tend to see with a lot of candidates. And I don't know why we think it's a good thing to both candidates and companies. I posted a job and I got 300 applicants in the first hour. Great. Terrible thing. I think that's the worst thing you possibly get. That's a whole nother episode. But candidates tend to go, well, you know what? I applied to 300 jobs this week. And let's be real. That's not hustle. It's spam. And that's the way you're being viewed. And unfortunately, the way that the systems are set up, if you're not doing a better job at AI than people who are professionally doing it, what I like to call the fraudulent candidates, you're essentially getting yourself filtered out. By not reading the job description thoroughly, you're missing out. And I'll tell you why too. Job descriptions for my company and some of the companies we work with, we use the Hire OS call to action. And if you auto apply, you're automatically deleted because you didn't follow our process. So here's the thing. I make it really easy. I promise people if they actually do the work and they do the research and they apply it properly, that they're going to get an interview. So how you conduct your job search is how you are going to be perceived to show up to work. So if you just wing it, auto apply to everything, how do you think you're going to be perceived? As somebody who's going to show up that same way. Now, here's the reality from the CEO, the executives, or TA's chair. I talk to business leaders every single day, and here's what I am hearing on the other side of the submit button, right? There's what I like to call the keyword carnival. That's AI has turned hiring into a game of keywords. Bots are just auto-applying to thousands of jobs in seconds, and they're getting really good at making it past the AI filtration systems that are set up on the company side. So again, it's making it completely unmanageable. Now, what I'm seeing is a massive amount in fake candidates. So people who don't really exist or who are not who they say they are. They're flooding the system. I just put out a video this morning of a candidate who fooled me last week. Responded the way they were supposed to respond to my job post. After I looked at the resume, after I got into the interview with the person, I realized totally a fake person. So because of this, ATS systems have become kind of a black hole for resumes, and it's just clogged with all kinds of noise. And this is what is costing you your ability to get interviews. So when a company posts a job, they're buried under an avalanche of unqualified AI-generated applications, and they literally cannot find the human beings in the pile. Frustration is putting yourself in the system. So if you're relying on job boards or HR to notice you, you're gambling with your career. So AI has turned your resume into a needle in a stack of needles, not the needle in the haystack anymore. Are you listening to the Higher Power Radio Show? I'm your host, Rich Gerard. Let's take a quick breath for an educational moment from our sponsor.
Hello, this is Michael Vandervoort from the Drive Through HR podcast, where we discuss ideas, trends, and activities that impact HR, talent, HR technology, and the workplace. Our focus is on expanding knowledge and igniting curiosity as we hear directly from people who are shaping the future of the HR industry. Join us.
All right, so if you're a leader listening to this, you know the pain of sifting through junk resumes. And if you're a candidate, you know the pain of being ignored. So how do we fix this? So first off, I think we need to reject the status quo, meaning I'm going to challenge you and I'm going to throw out one of my core values, re-evolutionary in your hiring process. We need to look at behaviors and other things that are more important to job success than just your standard keyword matching mechanisms. Resumes, you'll notice on my LinkedIn profile lately, I have a little sign that says no resumes. Resumes are a thing of the past. They're completely a useless tool at this point. For those of you who are looking, please stop acting like candidate number 347 and start acting like a referral. Stop using the machine gun approach and start using a sniper rifle. So this is where we're going to get into right now, and I'm going to spend a bunch of time kind of talking about how to create your own referral. Now, we all know the most powerful way to get hired is to get in through a referral. So if you know somebody within a company, they're going to put you into the system, and automatically you have a competitive advantage against anybody else who's just applying for the job. So if you don't know anybody at the company, how do you do it? Well, I'm going to challenge you to really change your game to your benefit and create your own referral system. I'm going to do a step-by-step process on how to do this. So first and foremost, remove yourself from the application and the HR process. I'm going to get tons of hate from this. Some HR people actually give me love from this, but look, processes are set up for a reason, and the reason why they're set up is to screen people out, not screen you in. So if you don't apply through the portal, then what do? You go straight to the person who feels the pain of the open position. Here's the thing. You're not going to go at it from, hey, I saw you have a job open and I want to talk to you about it, because quite frankly, they're just going to refer you back to HR. You're providing no value in saying, hey, I saw you have an open job. Let's connect so that I can talk to you about your job. They don't care. You're not solving any problems, and you're just being a machine gunner. Let's talk about being a sniper. Let's pick 5 companies. I get everybody to start with 5 companies. Identify 5 companies where you genuinely align with their mission, their core values, the role in which they're searching for, and you really think that you could make an impact in the organization. Now, you have to remember, high performers want to work with high performers. And we're in a market where it is a company market. Companies have been somewhat cautious about hiring because they don't want to make mistakes. Hiring managers don't want to make mistakes. And so anytime they get spooked, they step out. If you don't identify or portray yourself as a high performer, somebody who's going to really thrive in their specific culture, then they're going to not bring you through the process. So focus only on those environments where you think that you're going to stand out, and then do the work to stand out. Prep for success, right? So if you're reaching out to somebody, and this brings us to kind of our next point, dig into the company and locate a gap. Take a dig deeper approach. Every open job rec has a problem that needs to be solved. So don't just look at the job title, look at the business. Look at what's going on with their stock. Did they just launch a new product? Are they expanding to a new territory? Or do they have bad reviews or bad customer service? Find some sort of problem that you think that you can fix. So I like to call this like finding the leaks. Revenue leak. So do they have churn, renewals, pipeline conversion, pricing confusion? Execution leak. Are they missing deadlines, handoffs, rework? They have quality issues. People leak. High attrition in a role. slow ramp, managers overloaded, customer link, support backlog, onboarding friction, implementation delays. And essentially what you need to do is formulate a hypothesis. What's keeping that person that you're reaching out to up at night? And then reach out. So I recommend calling the CEO and working your way down. Now, if you're looking at large organizations, you're not going to get the CEO on the phone. Although if you do, I mean, that's the best place to start. If you're a referral from a CEO, guess what? You're going to get hired. If you're a referral from the bottom of the funnel, you're, like an applicant, your chances of getting hired are ridiculously slim. Think in terms of if it's a smaller organization, reach out to the CEO or the executive in charge of that department on LinkedIn. Now, don't ask for a job. As a matter of fact, don't ask to pick their brain. Don't leave some lame message and expect that somebody's going to get back to you. It's not going to happen. Now, instead, I would say call them. Now, there are lots of tools out there that help you find people's contact information. I use one called Chatterworks. So it's ChatterWorks.com. And essentially, it's a layover that sits on top of LinkedIn, and it gives you a person's email address and personal phone number. You can get their cell phone numbers. Don't just call, have a plan. Do your homework, identify an issue. Now, call them with a purpose. And I'm happy to kind of delve into that with somebody if they want more. But the message should be something like, hey, I've noticed you're dealing with problem X. And in my last role, I fixed that exact issue by doing Y, which resulted in Z. And I'd love to share a couple of ideas on how you might be able to tackle this. You're providing value back to them. Super simple. You certainly can involve it and make it a little bit more specific. But when you've identified a problem that they may or may not even know they have, that incredibly increases your ability to get a conversation with them. I've had people reach out to me and say, hey, I looked at your website. You have a problem. A button's not working. And I have an idea on how you can make that better. I've taken a call with them. Did I hire them? Yeah, actually, I did hire one person. But essentially what you're doing is you're setting yourself up to create your own job. So when you get that meeting, you will increase the leader's ability to see you in a different light. You're not just somebody who's looking for a job. You're a problem solver. And leaders love problem solvers. So prep for the meeting, impress them. Don't wait for them to ask you questions. Present your solution and do it in a very succinct, clear way. It's going to require that you practice it. Treat it like you're giving somebody a speech, because this is an opportunity for you to win big here. And then finally, ask for the opportunity to solve the problem. When you have a conversation with somebody and then you've identified that there's an issue and they've acknowledged that they have an issue, and you set yourself up as the clear winner on being the only person who can actually solve that issue, a business leader is going to do one of two things. One, they're going to either hire you for the role that you've applied for or that you're reaching out against or for, or they're going to end up creating a role for you, because every company wants to hire A players. Every company wants to hire people who are going to elevate and help demonstrate success within the business. So this puts you in a position where you're no longer a frantic job seeker. You're a peer. You're an asset. You have effectively created your own referral by referring yourself through value, not gotten yourself into the black hole of the HR at quick apply model. Let me break this down into 3 key takeaways that you can implement into your search today. And what I want you to do is put this into practice. And if you have questions, reach out to me. I'm always happy to help. So first, delete easy apply from your vocabulary. Don't do it anymore. I mean, look at, if you're getting 1, 2 interviews out of 300 applications, that's terrible. And all you're doing is really displaying that you're not taking the time to figure out whether or not the company's right for you, you're just clicking a button. Viewing high volume applications as a badge of honor is a losing strategy. So stop adding to the noise and be a sniper. Number 2, target the problem, not the position. So leaders want people who can solve problems, move the business forward, and elevate culture. Identify the business gap before you reach out. Then number 3, bypass the gatekeeper. Hey, the truth is that if you go directly to the decision maker with a value first mindset, you show them the work before you get the job, they're going to create something for you or bring you in at least for an interview so that you can prove yourself better and get the job. So stop waiting for the system to pick you up. The system is broken. So let's stop auto applying altogether. Pick yourself and create your own destiny. So I want to thank you for tuning in this week's episode of Higher Power Radio. Huge thanks to our team, Brian Colburn, Andrea Ballin, and Ayla Gerard. If you're listening to the podcast, please subscribe, review, and share. After all, this show's for you. We want to continue to bring you valuable content week after week. You can check this out further at Hire, H-I-R-E, Power, P-O-W-E-R, radio, R-A-D-I-O.com. Or you can drop me an email at rick@intertrue, it's intertru.ai. I'm your host, Rick Gerard, and you have been listening to the Higher Power Radio Show. Aloha.
Thank you for listening to Higher Power Radio. Catch our LinkedIn Live show every Tuesday at noon or download the podcast on iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, or your favorite podcast platform. We appreciate you joining us on Higher Power Radio with your guide to hiring success, Rick Gerard.